Hello and welcome to Platinum. Hello and welcome to Platinum Politics. I'm your host Mace, and today I have a pretty interesting debate for you. Just randomly scrolling through the server, I notice that there are people in a voice call. I join the voice call, and then Redwild joins the voice call. And then he decides to spark this interesting debate? I don't know. Again, you're the judge. Like, comment, and subscribe. And now it is time for today's impromptu debate.
So I've had a question that I've often debated amongst people, and that would be, would we starve in a vegan world?
No, but I don't think we would have very good or adequate nutrition.
Okay, well, why don't you think we would starve?
I don't think we would starve because there's still food to go around.
Okay, what is that food source?
That food source could be grains, lentils, other such things. Also, with modern refining, we can refine food into more nutritionally dense things. So if we had no meat, we could still have nutritionally dense things. It would just be very harder and extremely inefficient and taxing on logistics systems because it would be much harder to get.
Well, I believe it would cause mass starvation.
How? What evidence do you have of this?
So the evidence that I have is that there's such a thing as called marginalized land, and this is land that's like clay pans or of the Midwest United States. This is like mountainous and valleyed regions where our current equipment cannot cultivate these locations, and with the way water works, it would also cause massive erosion. You also have in Canada, there's a huge bedrock area that's very shallow soil. So we have to look at the world as an actual planet and not just a toy. And I think the way veganism looks at the world, especially Joseph Orr and Max Rosser looks at the world, they look at it as kind of I can do whatever I want. I can have pineapples in Antarctica kind of a thing. You know, if I want to grow grapefruits in Alaska, I can. You know, I could do strawberries in the Sahara. You know, it's just like any way I can force something to grow up until the point where it costs more to actually manufacture this than it would be to be worth it.
That depends.
No, it doesn't depend.
It absolutely depends. It absolutely depends because if you were able to get enough strawberries to be worth more over a certain period of time, in 50 years, the area that you cultivated to be fertile is going to be worth way more than it was.
How would you do that? Because in the Sahara Desert, what's the annual rainfall?
Have you heard of the Qatar Depression Project, where they were going to fill a huge part of the Saharan Desert with water, and then they were going to fertilize it? And
they're not filling it with water.
They are. They're filling it with water from the Mediterranean. What are you talking about?
No. They have a desalinization project that's giving people water, but they're not spraying water into the desert.
I never said they were spraying water. I said they were going to make a canal into the depression inside of Egypt. It's called the Qatar Depression Project. Search it up.
Okay, so Qatar is working on a desalinization.
Egypt.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, they're building that auxiliary Suez Canal.
No, they're not. They're building a agricultural project that would put water everywhere.
That would put just pour water from the ocean everywhere.
Gaddafi did this, and Egypt has done this. Or Egypt.
Where's the water coming from?
The water's coming from the Mediterranean Ocean.
So salt water. That's great for growing food in. Salt water. It's good for drinking too. I've drank gallons and gallons of salt water. Plants love salt water.
I guarantee you they could find ways to desalinate it.
That's what I just said, and you said no. This is something totally different.
No, because I thought you were talking about Qatar. I said Qatar Depression Project. That's totally.
There's a desalinization plant that is making they're planning. Qatar is planning on making a desalinization plant in order to make fresh water. Saudi Arabia's already done it. They're copying off of it. And you're talking about another auxiliary canal.
This project has been in planning since like 1953.
1950. Okay, so they're going to dig an alternate Suez Canal. Is that correct?
No, because it's not going to be a canal in a sort of usual sense, as in it's going to cross over into the Red Sea. It's going to be a canal that's going to lead to an artificial lake, which they're going to desalinate, and then they're going to fertilize and turn into agricultural land. The whole idea is it's going to try to de-desertify. specific term is, but the whole point is it's going to be a massive lake essentially in the middle of the Saharan desert, which is going to bring agricultural benefits. So like I'd like to like you made a lot of pro claims there. Like you made a claim that increasing usage of agriculture would lead to more or higher levels of erosion. Like, can I see some claims of that specifically, like in areas that you would be talking about where we're going to have it's going to not have a positive cost to benefit ratio? So
yeah, trying to run a disc cultivator over rocks would be my first one, because you're well aware that there's only 4 types of cultivators, and then trying to cultivate the clay pan, which we did, and it resulted in the Great Dust Bowl. We've tried these things before. It took us generations to fix.
yeah, but I would say that opinion is kind of moot, because in the Great Dust Bowl, that was in like the 1930s during the Great Depression. And 20s, my bad. That was a long time ago, and we have much higher levels or much more advanced equipment nowadays. We have GMOs, we have refining plants that can make our usage of plant material far more efficient.
Oh, okay. So, and we found a way to just make it rain, right?
Make it rain. Well, I wouldn't know 100% about that, but I'm certain that there's...
Well, we actually have. It's called cloud seeding.
Yes, I know. That's what I was just about to say. Qatar does it and China does it.
Yeah. But I'm not talking about, aluminum and barium oxide being sprayed into the atmosphere. I'm talking about how are you going to prevent wind erosion in a clay soil. So the soil is made out of clay, right? It's called the clay pan, CLAYEAN. And you can't transform that. We learned this a long time ago. It's great for growing in for a little while, and then you have a big problem. It was going to be the wheat belt of the Americas, and then that transformed into a disaster. So they even had things called rabbit roundups. Google that if you want to watch some good old fun beating thousands of rabbits to death and moseying them on into pens. I mean, it was just the whole thing was a disaster. So the soil is clay. So here's the thing with clay.
Claims about erosion.
Well, okay, so with clay, you need to fix humus into it so you can have humic acid, and you also need to aerate it more because it tends to start to lock up. So nothing can grow when it's being strangled. And this is the problem with the clay pan, is there's not enough carbaceous material. So the best way that we can prepare that part of the country moving forward is to grow livestock on it. It is to move animals across it, create more regenerative agriculture, sequester more carbaceous materials in there, creating more humic acid.
How does it prove your claim that everybody would starve to death? I don't see how this proves your claim.
Well,
you're just talking about different kinds of soils. We already know this.
So moving on. So 21%, while you were talking about desalinization, 21% of our Earth is actually what we kind of live on, because 71% is covered in salt water, which you can't grow soybeans in salt water in the middle of the ocean, and then 11% is ice. So it's kind of hard to come up with, these ebb and flow tides of ice and land development, and the ocean as well. I mean, we depend heavily on the ocean for food, and we don't feed wild fish. I mean, I've never went out and seen anybody like giving tuna hay or something, or corn or whatever. But yeah, I mean, we heavily depend upon the ocean for food, and there's 8.2 billion people.
Yeah, but can I see a material breakdown? Because you can get a material breakdown by plant energy. Then you have to take into account industry shifts. Some land that cattle grazes on is absolutely effective for agriculture. Not much. It's around 4% from when I last read things. I have a study I can give you on that, actually. We could reuse plant materials that would go to animal agriculture for fertilizers, and we could optimize logistical chains in order to minimize starvation, to create better efforts for things, better efforts for expanding agricultural industry, such as mega projects, irrigation, and other sort of projects.
So you are correct about the the land that animals utilize. Being you can free those up and you can turn those into crop fields, and so that's part of what is known as marginalized land. So after you have grown your corn, your soybeans, your cotton, your whatever, your spelt, your I don't care, your bananas or something. Well, usually not bananas, but they will go through and they'll rewild, if you want to say it. They'll let the land go fallow, FARROW, fallow, and it means the same thing as like a pig having babies, like a farrow.
A farrow land is land that needs to be fertilized. It's unfertilized.
Correct. It is unfertilized. So what they'll do is they'll let the land go feral, and not feral like a feral cat. They let it go feral, and so you'll put on there, sheep to go in behind your cottons, whatever. They love pigweed. They'll do damage on everything, causing problems to you. Cattle and whatnot in between corn stovers. This is an actual practice where they'll move these animals around. This is part of their GHG. This is part of their greenhouse gas emission applications. Is because they're using these lands that are now because they've gone past the point of, if I continuously use this land, the petrochemical fertilizers that I'm using are going to salinate the soil. They're going to make a bunch of organic salts in the soil when the acids are breaking down with the organic compounds. And we're just going to have this soil that just locks up. I mean, it gets so tight, nothing can grow in it. It's just barren, brown, and burnt looking. It looks like it caught on fire.
Because clay plants are generally, they require heavy amounts of cultivation, and they
this is not even clay pans. This is all soils. So this is lumen soil, with sand deposits in it. This is your heavy humus. This is your clay humus break. This is your God, I can't think of the perth, where you have the burnt material in between the clay and up above, where silt has settled. So I mean, this could be all kinds of different types of soil. But the same thing's going to happen. It can only take so much plowing, because every time you plow it and you cultivate it, you're releasing nitrous oxide and GHG from the soil. You're releasing chemical compounds from the soil, and then a hard rain comes behind, and now it doesn't have those air pockets anymore. So now it gets compacted and bound, and then you're adding more petrochemical fertilizers to it, and now it's become salinated. So it's even more locked up and more bound.
Who says that you still can't use natural fertilizers such as cow manure or?
Well, that's what I'm just saying. I just said that, and that's why a vegan world would not work.
Well, how is that not vegan? I'm guarantee you could find a way.
Oh, vegans don't want you using cow manure from raped cows that come out of dairy farms. They don't like that.
I'm not a vegan. I'm not arguing against that. I think that's
So you said you're not arguing against that.
I'm arguing against your. I'm arguing against.
You're arguing against my claim.
I'm not making an argument from the perspective of a vegan, where a vegan would.
You are.
No, I'm not.
You
I'm
are.
actually not. No, I'm not.
You said we can live in a vegan world. It would just be less nutritionally sufficient.
Yes, I do.
And I'm arguing that it would be a starvation culture.
I don't think it would be a starvation culture. I think that's.
I know it would be. I mean, I posted in the side chat and you didn't even read it. The amount of food that you would have to
You
oppress.
just said a bunch of numbers and didn't provide sources. So, like, what am I supposed
I
to
mean,
read?
so you want a source for every number?
Yes, I want to study.
You don't believe any of them?
No, I want to study.
So,
Because
okay, so
you can
let me, hold on, let me do my homework real quick. Okay,
bring up
I'll
any
meet
number
you back
want,
here.
point
I'll meet
anywhere
you back
want,
here in a
say it's
week.
truth, but it's not truth.
Well, I'll meet you back here in a week, and we can carry on this conversation because it sounds like I've got a lot of homework to do.
Yeah, you definitely do. Maybe you
Yeah.
should.
I mean, so I want you to source where you're getting the fact that we can be in a totally vegan world. I want that source specific. It has to come from a meta source right now.
A meta source? Sure. One moment.
It's going to come from Our World and Data, Max Roser, off of the Joseph Poor from 2018 from Oxford and what is that? Oxford and University of Wisconsin. I can't remember the other guy's name. Something like Wellsmeck or something, but it's Joseph Poor, Poore, and it's Our World and Data, or it's going to be off of something. Not holy cow. It's going to be PETA, or it's going to be something like plant-based something.
I have tons here. I just searched it up.
Yeah,
Tons.
there's thousands of them. Oh, there's thousands of them. None of them actually show any logistical realities. They're all just, we can do this, and when we become vegan, we'll have 75% more land to rewild. I already know all that. It's Livestock's Long Shadow is the other one. I couldn't recall that. 2016, I believe. Nimix, I believe is his name. Nimix is Joseph Poor Nimix.
I mean, it's like one quick search, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
all
you
over
made
the internet.
claim that we would all starve, and you're the one who has the pro claim. So, like, I don't know why I have to provide claims for you providing claims for that you're supposed to provide for. You have the pro claim here, right? So you should be providing sources that say that living in a vegan world would cause starvation, and I would want to see nutritional mass breakdown, and I would want to see how that would interact with logistical systems. But the problem is you can't make that. So it sounds like to me you're just, making up a bunch of arguments and pointing lines where you can't. You're making huge correlation causation fallacy. So like,
no, there's not a correlation causation fallacy. It's a correlation to it's simple math. It's a minus sign instead of a positive sign. It's a minus sign. Nobody on this planet, and again, all the studies that are going to point towards this are going to say plant-based. Correct? Well, I'm plant-based.
Okay.
Plant-based still means you eat meat. Yeah, because here's where all those studies are askew. All these studies are askew because they rely on a plant-based statement done by people who did not do any homework. All they said was, here's how much land livestock use. If you get rid of the livestock, now you have the land. So the land is the perfect place to plant your plants. Is that true?
Sorry, what did you say?
So, okay, you have livestock, right? You have animals, right?
Yes.
Okay. If you just remove the animals from the land itself, now you have that land to produce more plants. But here's the problem. It doesn't work like that. It's not Candyland. It's reality. It's not fantasy world. You're not taking unicorns off of, Harry Potter Hogwarts farmlands. You're taking real animals that are specifically designed to consume grass that is drought resistant. Okay. And those are native strands of grass. Okay. And now you're going to try to do what they failed to do in 1920 when you can't create enough rainwater or water in itself to supply this stuff. You can't create enough humic acid. You can't create enough biological material. Every time you start ripping and taking plants out of the soil just falls apart. It becomes clay bound. It becomes salinated. China is realizing this right now. China is trying to do what you're talking about right now. They're trying to take land that is not meant to grow corn and soy on, and they're the number one users of petrochemical fertilizers right now. That's what they think is going to put out the fire. They're just going to throw a bunch of fertilizer at it, and then they're going to try to find some way to over irrigate it, and that's going to fix the problem, right?
Okay. I mean,
so and you're applying you're applying that to the same exact thing that you're talking about, and you don't realize that plants can't live in deoxygenated soil. They can't live in salinated soil. It doesn't work like that. They prefer acidified soils.
Yeah, so I
That's
just
how
did a study right
plants
there.
live.
It's not a study, but it's an article. But it's better than the nothing that you have right now. So here's the article. It says WR calculations using data from World Food Organization show that 630 million tons of protein were produced in the world. 109 million tons of animal proteins and 520 million tons of plant proteins. Pyatt estimates that about half of the plant proteins were processed in animal feed. These will become available for human consumption when we switch to a purely plant-based diet. She also expects that a third of this production, as it is now, would be lost during harvest, processing, transport, storage,
I'm plant-based.
or in the store.
Again, I'm plant-based. And
or
I
waste
just put the
like
World Health
I'm speaking-
Organization's definition of plant-based in the side chat. I'm plant-based.
Okay.
So
You still
what
have
do you think plant-based means?
a ton of
What do you think plant-based
about
means?
like salination of soil, and you're not providing anything.
Okay, well, what do you think plant-based means?
Anything that comes from plant products.
Oh, is that okay? I'm carbon-based. Do you think I'm made out of carbon, like a pencil?
Yeah.
You think I'm a burnt piece of charcoal?
Carbon chains.
Well, I'm carbon-based, right?
Carbon
I'm a
chains.
carbon-based life form. Are you?
Yeah. Yes, I'm
Okay.
a carbon-based.
That's a
life
chemical.
form. Maybe I'm a
So-
Martian.
That's a
Maybe I'm silicon-based. Who knows?
No, I'm carbon-based. So I'm a carbon-based life form. And then when you breathe air, do you breathe oxygen?
No, you breathe nitrogen mostly.
Mostly, yeah. It's only 21% oxygen. That's correct. So when we're talking about air, everybody thinks air means oxygen. Everybody thinks that plant-based means plants only plants. That's only plants, plant-based. My house is concrete-based, but that doesn't mean it's only concrete, right? So what you're having is you're having a dispute with semantics.
This isn't.
And I agree 100% with the plant-based diet. 155% I agree with the plant-based diet. I am plant-based. But the vegan diet is something totally different. It is completely devoid of animal products.
So you're just a vegetarian.
No, I mean. No, I'm plant-based and I mean. And I put it in the side chat, but you all can't read.
So do vegetarians.
Vegetarians can, yeah, I don't care what vegetarians.
These are different studies. The one that I sent, though,
But they
are
bleed.
based from
But
the
they're all relative to plant-based, right?
Not always. This study is calculating plant proteins versus animal proteins. It's not
Okay, well let's calculate plant proteins. Okay,
Right there.
so
I have the side chat. I also have 5 other studies we can look at.
so 47% of human protein that is consumed globally is from animals, complete, not just rando, tryptophans and gluten is a protein that's in bread. I mean, but you can't live off of gluten.
Nobody's talking about gluten. We're talking about plant proteins.
Okay, so
They're talking about edible proteins. Why would they include
plants
plant
have proteins. They do. They're not always complete.
No, they wrote plant proteins that were fit for human consumption.
Okay, and I'm going to show you something off your study, and you tell me if this is true.
Okay, go ahead. Well, it's not a study; it's an article. But okay,
That's
go ahead.
fine. Is that true?
I don't know. I haven't read that.
Let's look at it. I mean, you posted it. Do you think wheat does not have tryptophan in it?
I don't know what tryptophan is, and I don't know why we're talking about it.
That's
'cause
okay.
We're talking about edible plant protein. This is energy. This is a matter of energy because your argument was starvation. We're not talking about nutritional adequacy. We're talking about starvation, and you're just not addressing it. You're bringing up tryptophan when we're trying to talk about if people will starve to death or not. Your body already can use its own methods to create a lot of these minerals.
So what we're your body makes minerals now. That's great. I didn't know my body made potassium. But that's great. That's wonderful. Okay, so let's talk about what I really wanted to talk about. You're right. I wanted to talk about, can we survive off of only plants? And I knew you were going to post that Our World in Data. I knew you were going to do it. That's Max Roser. Look at that silly, goofy little chart that you posted. Look at it.
Watch out, guys. He got me. I posted an article from someone he disagrees with. Yeah, so can you explain how this makes this inadequate? How your opinion is almighty?
So what we need is, we have a 70 billion hectare planet. 71% of that is covered in water. It's perfectly mathematical. So you have 29% solid land that a human person could put their foot on. 11% of that is covered in ice. And these people are telling you that you only need 25% of all farmland to grow enough food to feed 8.2 billion people. Is that true? You know what that would be? So
Okay, well, hold up.
Currently right now, if we don't follow that, that's 1.9
Hold up.
hectaacres.
That requires
So if we
logistics.
actually follow their
You
logistics,
just asked me a question,
that's
and
like
you're not letting me respond.
36. That's 0.36 hectaacres per person. That's like a small backyard to grow enough food to feed an entire family. That's such shit math.
Yeah, it is shit
So-
math, but nobody's talking about that. We can obviously optimize it and make more. Of course, we need
You're gonna
reserves. Most of it,
optimize it. How are you going to do that?
as I just said,
okay,
create
so
more
let's.
irrigation, optimize previous animal agriculture.
Well, the next thing you're going to tell me about is vertical
Are you
farming.
going to speaking?
Yeah, Brad, you're gonna have to let him actually finish out his thought.
I already know what he's going to say.
It
Vertical
doesn't
farming.
matter.
This
It
guy
doesn't
can.
matter.
That's what I'm saying. This guy's Houdini.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You have to let him finish his thought, okay?
Houdini was a escape artist, not a mind reader.
That's cool.
Jesus
But
Christ.
yeah, like what I was gonna say is absolutely you can create logistical chains. You can irrigate more land. We can move soil around. We can get soil out of areas that is not in use or not possible to be used. And we could use it for fertilizer. We could use natural animal fertilizers to create plant land, usable for plant agriculture. Like we can absolutely do things to optimize things. And a lot of these studies that I'm posting support what I'm saying. And you're talking about like a bunch of different topics. Well, you brought up the topic. You made the claim: would everybody starve to death? Well, the argument is that by biomass, no, not everybody would starve to death. Is that a nutritionally adequate diet? No. Is it a good diet? No. But would it require heavy logistics to support and ensure that international trade lanes don't break and, one little thing would cause huge regions of the world to starve? Yes, because that's already a problem in the natural world. So like this is more an argument of logistics rather than pure biomass.
No, and you keep using that word biomass. I mean,
I'm using
you
it
can't you can't take something and move it. So if you have one good working place that has great soil, and then you dig it out, and then you move it to somewhere that has really bad soil, that doesn't make two places with the best soil ever. That's not how that works.
Never made that claim.
You did. You said let's move. It's logistics. You said we can move. We can move soil. We can move soil from working places to non-working places.
So hold up. I should have been more specific because I was talking about cities. Urban gardens are a thing. We can use fertilizers to create.
Do you have an urban garden?
Yes, I do. I grow lettuce, I grow kale, I grow tomatoes, and I grow peppers.
Okay.
And eggplants.
So you grow a salad.
Yes.
Okay. And
if that were in a time of need, I mean, I could provide food to some people. I mean, this helps alleviate supply chains. If you were a person who was smart with logistics and understood how to move things around and how to continue to operate, you could 100% use urban gardens as part of a plant-based strategy in order to alleviate supply problems off of cities. You can
I'm plant-based.
Yeah, you keep saying that, but I'm talking about vegan diets.
Oh, then say vegan.
Well, plant-based is okay. You know what? Plant-based is a colloquial term for vegan diet, and that's what most of these.
By whom? Not by the word. Yeah, by all those articles. That's what I was trying to tell you. I'm plant-based. I'm 100%. I am fully. No, I'm not 100% plant-based, but I am fully plant-based. I only consume 80 to 90% animal products. So you don't understand that. You can't get that into your head. You keep associating because you're drinking the Kool-Aid. The vegan Kool-Aid is plant-based from all these health organization studies. All of these studies are on plant-based diet.
What are you talking about? You're just yapping at this point.
Okay.
And Inquisitor
Let me non-yap. Okay.
Sure, go ahead. But Inquisitor
what does
an article about regeneration of degraded lands, and you made the claim that you can't regenerate degraded land. So I'd like to see proof of that. That
no, you totally can. I do it all the time.
Okay, so why did you make that claim then?
You can't do it and produce food on a vegan diet.
What? That doesn't even make any sense. If you can regenerate the land and plant and grow vegetables, then yes, you fucking can.
No.
Yes.
So on a meat diet, and I gave the example of the sheep eating the stover from the from the cotton. I gave the example of the cattle being on the being in the cornfields after the corn was harvested and regenerating the land in order to give the land a break. It was called marginal land. And you're laughing,
I think you need to read the
giggling, but
study.
you're not paying attention.
No, I think you need to read the study I posted.
I think you need to read what is marginal
Study that
land.
I posted.
Let's read it. Let's have a hacker at it. Oh, I love that study. It talks about using spore mycelium. It talks about using symbiotic bacteria on nitrogen fixating legumes. It's a great study. I have no problem with it. Did they also tell you that those lands are used for harvesting hay and or used as a pasture field? Yes, it did. If you keep scrolling down, you have to keep reading. And I love Anne Moet. I think she does a great job for the FAO. I follow her on Instagram. She's awesome.
I'm gonna go poop.
Okay, continuing the debate because Polonium's back.
Redwild, come back, please.
Yeah.
I was just getting my food. I was getting my food from my plant-based diet. So
Sometimes a broken clock is functional.
Twice a day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Hello.
what are you guys talking about?
Chicken.
Redwild made an absurd claim. The claim was everybody would starve to death if we went on a vegan diet across the whole world.
We made a few of them, right? And the reason, Red, I posted that thing in there is because you did specifically make the claim that you cannot transplant ground, like soil, from one location to another to revitalize it. That's why I posted that.
I don't know if he's here. Well, if anyone else wants to counter that argument, or
Counter what argument?
the red Wiles.
Oh my god! Like, do we have to? Like,
No,
honestly,
I said if you want to.
I mean, it's just like, how it would lead to starvation in any way, shape, or form. Like, you could say that we wouldn't get the nutrient. I mean, sure, you can make that argument. Although I think there's another argument that says that might not happen, but I'm not sure. Or that, like, we don't have enough resources to make the entire world vegan. Sure, that could be a thing. But you can't say that, like, it would lead to mass starvation. Like, we would all starve to... Well, like, that the human race would starve to death. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Platinum memes. Yeah.
Yeah, I
This
found
guy
that to be
gets
an
it.
absurd claim as well. Like, I'm not even vegan. I'm arguing this guy on like these claims. I mean, I think they're just absolutely ridiculous claims.
Just agree with him because you hate vegans. I'm joking.
Real.
Like, I heavily disagree with like a lot of vegan arguments. Like, I disagree with a lot of their methodology. Like, a lot of them have methodology super similar to Nazis. But like, I do not agree with the fact saying that if we went on a vegan diet globally, we would all starve to death. I think it would just be far less nutritionally flexible or adequate.
I just don't... I kind of see where they're coming from, but I don't know how to get on. I think it's more of a systemic issue than an individual issue. Like, I think there probably can be a way for the world to do veganism. I just think that would take time and resources and would require a huge restructuring in order to do so. Because I don't believe because I think there can be substitutes for what you get from meat. Like, we have different like vitamins and stuff, but again, that would require a lot of resources and such.
Well, his claim was purely starvation, and I'm arguing that.
Yeah, his claim is stupid. Just stupid.
It's just a stupid, zealous, anti-vegan claim that has
This
very
guy's-
little backing or support.
I'm just convinced this guy's a troll.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Definitely.
But I've yet to find
No,
out.
he's mute. He's mute.
Outsmart.
What do you mean you have yet to find out? You didn't learn that from as long as you're stealing, you're not committing imperialism or like fucking, what was it, racism or fascism or whatever? You're not racist so long as you steal from them?
I was about to quote a TF2 quote where Heavy says, maybe, but I've yet to find out who could outsmart Bullet.